everyone, I'm Stym-E, and we're putting together how to do a Packer beef brisket in your Hook Cook Barrel BBQ. We'll take you through our step-by-step outline that will show you how you can ensure great results every time, and we'll show you our results when we're done. So let's go ahead and let's get you started. So here we have our full Packer beef brisket right from the market. A couple of things I look at when I am picking out a beef brisket like this is actually one would be the length. This one's 12 pounds, 12, 13, 14 pounds, but I wanted to make sure it's under 21 inches from end to end. Our grill grade is 21 to 22 inches, and we want it to fit into our Hook Cook Barrel BBQ nicely. Another thing, it's got a nice vacuum seal on it. This one's got a nice tight seal on it. We don't want any cuts or tears. That means your brisket could have been compromised in some way. The third thing I'm doing now is I've got some hickory chips soaking in some water. If you've got mesquite or apple or whatever you like, when we start smoking our brisket, we want to lay some nice flavor into that smoke ring. Now what we're going to do is cut our brisket out of here, rinse it, bring it back out, and show you the parts of fat that we're going to trim off. So now we need to trim our brisket down. A couple of things we're going to need: some sharp knives, a couple of different types of knives. I don't have any serious recommendations, just that they're sharp. Now, if you've never trimmed a brisket before, there's two sections to a brisket and about 4 different areas we're going to trim fat down on. The 2 sections are the flap and the point. The flap is the long, fat, thin part that has the fat cap on it. The point's the part that comes up to a wedge. I'm going to completely leave my flap alone with the fat cap. Up at the top though, the point, the fat cap's and a little extra thick up here. No 2 briskets will ever be the same, but I'm going to take that down to about maybe a ½ inch or so, the same as the flap. Now, on the opposite side here, there's a piece of a little bit of a softer fat that's in there, but it's still pretty hard. There's a wedge. We're going to cut that wedge out between the flap and the point. Then we'll flip it over, and on the kitty corner side, we'll have that same type of fat. What we're going to do is we're going to trim this part really hard. We're going to trim another wedge out between the flap and the point. And then the last area that we're going to trim down, we'll spend a little time, is this membrane skin. It's a little pinkish, or they call it silver skin. We're going to take all of that down as well. As we season our brisket, we want our seasons to penetrate. That will prohibit that. So we'll spend a little time, maybe spend 10, 15, 20 minutes trimming your whole brisket down. Then we'll show you how we add our seasons and take you out to our grill. So we're done trimming down our brisket. Now it's got a nice color. We've got some of the heavy fat off there that wouldn't have rendered. It's got a nice marbling. One last quick tip when you're trimming your brisket down: if you look at it and you can see your grain running in one direction, what I've done is I've cut the end off over here that goes against the grain, so when I'm done cooking my brisket, I can just go ahead and follow that slice line all the way through. Now let's show you a nice simple season that we like to use on our brisket. We use 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. 1/3 salt, 1/3 black pepper, and 1/3 Montreal seasoning, which tends to be just a little bit more salt, a little bit more black pepper, along with some other seasonings, just a little bit of a heavier grain. Now, I like to mix them all up into a shaker. Go ahead, mix it up well in your shaker, and as you're seasoning your brisket, make sure you mix your shaker up continuously, because that salt is a little heavier and will fall to the bottom. Now, season your entire briskets, the sides, the top, the point, the flap. If you got any extra into the wedges, make sure you just kind of shake that out of there. We don't want that heavy grain inside there. Now, we'll take you out to the Hook Cook Barrel BBQ, season it, and show you how we lay it in. Okay, so now we're out at our grill. Our grill is lit. We've got our wood chips on it. It's smoking nice, and we're ready to lay our brisket in. We're using 2 rods and a grill grate, no hooks today. So what we're going to do is at 2 hours and 4 hours, we're going to stoke our coals, and at 4 hours, we're going to come back and show you how we flip our brisket and wrap it. But right now, we're going to lay it in fat cap down. Important, fat cap down for the first 4 hours. So go ahead and just grab your brisket, lay it in, put your cover on, nice and tight. Then we'll come back and show you how we stoke, and then wrap. Alright, so now we've come to our 2-hour stoke. Our brisket's been smoking nice and consistent, but what happens is after a while the temperature will begin to drop. In order to sustain a nice temperature and a long cook time on our briquettes, we come in and we stoke the coals every 2 hours. So we take our lifting hook, and every other hole around the bottom, we'll go in and put our lifting hook over the disc and just smooth the coals around a little bit. All set. Now in 4 hours when we come back, we'll do the opposite holes and we'll show you how we wrap our brisket. So here we are now, we're out at our 4th hour. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull our brisket out. We're going to double wrap it. I have 18-inch foil that's about 30 inches long. We're going to pull it out, place it in, wrap it one way, take it, flip it over, wrap it the other way, and then set it back in with the fat cap up for the next 3 hours. So we'll go ahead, remove our lid. It might be a little hot, so I'm wearing a glove. We've got our brisket there. Now I've got a bear claw and a spatula, and I'm just going to make sure it comes off there nice and easily. And we're going to lay it right in here. Set these to the side, take off my glove. And the one thing that we do not want to do while we're doing this is put a tear in our foil. So I'm using heavy duty foil here today. And my fat cap right now is still down. And I'll go ahead, I'll take and I'll flip it, double wrap it the other way, get a nice strong wrap on there, and then grab it and lay it back in, and then lay my lid back on there. Now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll stoke in the opposite holes. This is our 4-hour stoke. Now we'll come back at 6 hours, do one more stoke, and then we'll pull it out at its 7th hour, and then we'll let it counter rest for about half an hour to an hour before we slice into it. So now we've come to our 6th hour. We're going to go ahead and stoke our coals one last time, press them all together into the middle to get that one last hour of heat out of them. Then what we'll do is we'll pull our brisket out, bring it inside, and let it rest on our counter for about a half an hour to an hour. Then we'll slice into it and show you our results. So I'll go ahead and every other hole, I'll stick my lifting hook in there and just kind of feel around for those coals and push them to the middle. All set, and now it's just a bit of a wait. Alright, so we've come to our 7th hour in the barrel. I'm going to go ahead and put some gloves on. We're going to pull that lid back. We're going to pull that brisket out and then let it rest for a little while. See if we can get that lid back. Nice. Go ahead and just grab a hole. Got to be careful, we don't want to tear that foil now because it's got a lot of juice in it. We'll put that right on there. Now we'll bring it inside, and in a little while we'll cut into it and show you our results. So now here we are back in our kitchen. We've unveiled our brisket. It's been resting for about an hour and it's been holding tons of heat. We're going to go ahead and move it over onto our cutting board and take a few slices out of it so we can show you. Before we do that though, remember, if you like what you see, go ahead, subscribe to our channel up here. We've got all our videos. You subscribe to our channel and you can have it right there at your fingertips. Anytime you have any questions, you can go right in and watch one of our videos. Also, like our Facebook page. Every time we have something coming up or going on, we post it on Facebook, and we love getting pics and sharing pics with you. Now, we're going to go ahead and move our brisket over. I've got a couple of my bear claws here. It's pretty tender. Hopefully it won't come into pieces. There we go. Now, I've got my slice spot up here where I was going to follow through. So we'll go ahead and give you a little look-see at that. Here, we'll hold this. Beautiful. There's tons of moisture in there this time. Nice smoke ring. We'll pull a piece right out of here in the middle. There we go. Just like we've wanted it. Comes apart like butter. It's delicious. Nice brown smoke ring. See if we can get a nice shot of that. Right in there. We'll get some nice close-ups for you. Hopefully you've seen a way you can go ahead and do a brisket in your Hook and Cook Barrel BBQ. We appreciate positive feedback, and as I always say, please speed safely, eat responsibly, and keep watching Simple with Stym-E. Thanks.